Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express, the most important news and editorial of the day that is relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 21st of January. The first important news, that is new guideline to regulate the promotions on social media. This is with regards to the influencers. Second, 57th Director General of Police Conference. Third, India-Egypt to hold dialogue on defense ties. Second last, that is Google parent Alphabet to cut 1200 job. And this time for 2023, a lot more IT companies are cutting short with their employees. And the last is an editorial. There is a hardly any autonomy at the panchayat level. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based question. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before I begin this session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. Starting the session with the first news, that is new guideline to regulate the promotions on social media, something important for General Studies Paper 2 under the subtopic, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising out from it, design and implementations. So recently, the center has released the endorsement guideline for celebrities and social media influencer, mandating compulsory disclosure of monetary and material benefits from a brand they're promoting has to be basically revealed to the government entity. And even this release has to be there with the known of the viewers or the customer who is actually using that. As a part of the guideline, if the social media influencer fails to do so, it has to be in a penal provision. So there's a penalty of up to 50 lakh rupees under the new guideline. The step is taken amid the consideration that increase the use of social media promotional activities that go beyond the advertisement or advertisal print in electronic media. So if you see in the present context, there are three important streams or medium. First is YouTube, where a lot of influencers are there. Even Twitter and Instagram are there, where the influencers promote different type of businesses. They have their personal interest, although they're promoting some other channels as well. So this is how, if they have a collaboration with any specific brand or it's a commercial art, that has to be known by the government entities as well the regulatory part. Now, more about the guideline that is released by the Government of India. So under the latest guideline, disclosure must be prominently and clear, displaying the endorsement and terms and condition in such advertisement which is sponsored, paid, should be all sort of it banned, right? So if there's any advertisement that call for invested interest, even if had been particular investment has been paid off, then also that will call for the disclosures part. Now, the guidelines specifically disclose must to be prominent and clear, displaying the endorsement, making it extremely hard to miss. So this is something that the influencer cannot miss out. Now, under the guideline, there's an endorsement know-hows created for celebrities, influencer, virtual influencers, and social media platform to ensure that individuals do not miss the audience and even product or services that are compliant with the Consumer Protections Act. Now, what kind of benefit are considered to be the material benefit? So the benefits and incentive will be counted as a material benefit, which has to be disclosed. Monetary and other compensations, tribal trips and hotel stays, media basters, and even the coverage and awards, free products without conditions, discounts, gift, and any family or personal employment to a relationship will be counted under the category of material benefits. Now, there's a penal provision under the new guideline. If there's a violations, the penalty prescribed for misleading the advertisement under the Consumer Protection Act 2019 will be applicable. So this is again factually important information for the prelims examination. In case of Central Consumer Protection Authority, better known as CCPA, can impose a penalty up to 10 lakh rupees and it can reach up to a penalty of 50 lakh rupees at the highest level. Now, the Central Consumer Protection Authority has prohibited the endorsement of any kind of misleading advertisement for any endorsement up to 1 year. For a subsequent contravictions prohibition that can extend up to 3 years. So if there's a false promotions or something that is misleading to the consumer end, will call for a penal provisions. Now, moving to the other news, 57 Director General of Police Conference, something important for General Studies Paper 2, under the subtopic that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from it, design and implementations. So, addressing the 57th General Conference, the Union Home Minister has highlighted that the security challenges across the land and border in the Nepal and Myanmar is an area of concern for the government of India and even for the security forces. He said that there's a need for a strategy to identify and overstaying foreigners and Indian targeting the Maoist strongholds. The minister, that is the Minister of Home Affairs, has added that the police has to cope up with the challenging time and how to issue the thematic and multidimensional part of it. Now, on doing so, during the conference, the top police leaders across the country were deliberating the security challenges, opportunities, along with the expert field in the functionary academia and the conference part. Now, this was the image that was released officially in the Press Information Bureau, the conference, All India Conference for the Director General, Inspector General of Police. Now, removal of ASPA, Arms Force Special Power Act की बात की गई. As per the Union Home Ministry, the Arms Force Special Power Act has been removed from 30% of the northeastern region, and it shows that there's an increasing peace in the northeastern region as a step decline of more than 42% of violence has been witnessed. Now, issue of Chinese entity was a concern during the conference. The conference has raised concern about the Chinese commercial entities that is being used by our neighbor country China to collect the personal data for economic control and influencing the mind. The assessment by the agencies follow the commercial entities to operate in India with 5 important objectives. ये objectives होंगे influencing the minds, उसके अलावा building economic control, acquisitions of data for espionage, target scientists to compromise innovations, and IPR, that is intellectual property rights. Moving to the other news, that is India, Egypt to hold dialogue on the defense ties, something important for General Studies Paper 2 under the subtopic that is bilateral regional grouping in agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. So India and Egypt is expected to sign about half a dozen of agreement that is ranging from the area of agriculture, digital during the upcoming Egypt president visit to India, and he is also the chief guest, right? He is a chief guest for celebrations of Republic Day. Republic Day के celebrations की अगर बात करें 26th of January, every year we used to have a chief guest, right? So for this year, Egypt president is the chief guest. The area of defense and security cooperations emerging as a key pillar in the bilateral relationship between the both countries. Now, focus area की बात करें अगर, collaborations on security, counter-terrorism and defense-related matters are expected to feature predominantly in the bilateral talks between the countries. The other important area include challenges of the unmanned aerial vehicle, जिसे UAV भी कहते हैं, cyber threat. Two sides are expected to sign agreement to enhance the cooperations in the areas such as cyber security and the information technology. Now, military engagement is another concern. 180 members military consignment from Egypt will participate in the Republic Day parade for this time. And India and Egyptian Special Force are currently conducting their first joint drill named Exercise Cyclone in Rajasthan. Very important, a direct question can be framed in the prelims examination, many other government examination. The ongoing 14-day exercise is aimed at building the interoperability for counter-terrorism and other special operations. India-Egypt trade की अगर बात करें, almost 12% of the global trade passes through the Suez Canal, and India-Egypt trade registered all-time high of 7.2 billion during this particular time, and which is expecting a growth of 75%. India export during this period were worth of 3.74 billion, an increase to 764%. Both sides have set target of taking two-way for 12 billion in 5 years. And the Indian companies have signed agreement for green hydrogen project with Egypt that is worth of 18 billion. Now, if you talk about Egypt, map work become very important, and a direct question has been framed subsequently by the UPSC in its preliminary examination. This is the Egypt, which is bounded by the country called Libya and Saudi Arabia. It's Jordan here. This the Israel, the Gaza Strip, very important point. So Suez Canal, Red Sea is near to this region, and Sudan, and above that there's a Mediterranean Sea. So this kind of map work will be very relevant for the prelims examination. Now, the other news, Google parent Alphabet to cut 12,000 jobs. This is important for General Studies Paper 2, effect of policies of developed and developing countries, and even related to General Studies Paper 3, where economic issues are concerned. Now, Google is laying off 1,200 workers, about 6% of the total workforce for the Google, and it's becoming the latest tech company to trim the staff, becoming the economic boom in the industries that has rode COVID-19 pandemic in this. Alphabet is a company by Google, and its CEO Sundar Pichai has said that the parent company Google has informed their staff about their working in the Silicon Valley giants to cut. There was an email that was officially sent to the employees regarding this. It is one of the biggest company ever layoff takeoff in the 10,000 of the job recently announced by the Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, its parent Meta. That company has tightened a belt amid darkening the outlook of the industries. So IT की अगर बात करें globally, it is not performing well for 2023. Now, this month has been at least 48,000 job cut that was announced. I'll tell you a bifurcations किस company ने कितनी लोगों को basically lay off किया है. I'll give you a detail in the later part of the video. Now, there are the job cuts in the United States as unspecified in the countries as well. Now, freezing tech industries की बात की गई. The tech industries have been forced to freeze, and hiring cut and the job cuts is evident in this fact. Recently, the Microsoft had announced 1,000 jobs cuts, nearly 5% of its workforce. Amazon की अगर बात करें, 18,000 jobs cut की है, the fraction of 1.5 billion strong workforce. While the business software maker Salesforce laying off 800 employees. Facebook parent Meta has announced 11,000 positions and 13% of the total workforce to be vacant. And Elon Musk, who has recently owned Twitter, has acquired this, and he has also asked for many employees to leave it. So talking about the bifurcation for this year 2023, there was a lot of companies that were witnessing a shortfall in the employees. They were cutting off with the layoff. So Amazon, you can see the data for Alphabet, Microsoft, Salesforce, Goldman Sachs, Wayfair, Coinbase. These are the companies with the numbers of employee laying off. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, that is, there's a hardly any autonomy that is there with regards to the panchayat level, something important for General Studies Paper 2, under the subtopic, that is the functions and responsibility of union and states and issues and challenges pertaining to the federal structure of this country. So what I'm going to discuss under this editorial, first talking about the theme. The theme of this article is Panchayat Autonomy, a brilliant editorial that will give you an insight about the issues like diluting the spirit of constitutional amendment, issue of funding, challenges, taxing the process of seeking approval, shadow of the bureaucrats, and the bottom line or the conclusion part. So in recent incident that was there with regards to an up-sarpanch in Telangana, Jayashankar Bolapalli district, who has committed a suicide due to indebtedness. And because of indebtedness, a lot more death is reported or suicide is reported. Now, he has taken loan out from the development work to develop basically his house or household in the village. And he was a burden to pay off with the state government inordinate to delay their releasing bill payments, right? So the work was there for the development of village, not a personal interest. So this was for the entire development of the village, and a lot of problem was there from the government, and the bottleneck was there with regards to the release of bill payments. So Sarpanch alleged that the failure of the state government to release the fund has forced him to utilize either the private resources to borrow a large amount to complete the panchayat activities and meet various targets. So this basically the shortfall, or you can say the loopholes in the releasing of bill payment, has led to the commission of the suicide of an individual. Now, diluting the spirit of constitutional amendment ki baat ki gayi, we know that the fact with the 73 and 74 amendment that call for a decentralization of the governance and Panchayati Raj institutions or PRI was formulated, right? Now, the giving the constitutional status to the local government, state government, although the local bureaucracy continue to exercise considerable discrepancy, authority, and influence over the panchayat. In India, the power of the locally elected officials remains seriously circumscribed by the state government and local bureaucrat in multiple ways, thereby diluting the spirit of constitutional amendment seeking power by elected officials. Now, issue of funding is again a big concern. Gram Panchayat remain fiscally dependent on the grant that is both discretionary and non-discretionary from the state as well as center on for everyday activities. ब्रॉडली अगर बात करें तीन तरह की रिसोर्सेज है जो फंड्स हैं पंचायत को दी जाती है. फर्स्ट दे हैव देयर ओन सोर्स ऑफ रेवेन्यू दैट इज द लोकल टैक्स रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम द कॉमन प्रॉपर्टी एंड रिसोर्सेज. दिस इज द फर्स्ट सोर्स ऑफ इनकम. The second source of income is from the grant in aid, that is from the central and state government. And third is the discretionary or the scheme fund that is given by the state or union government. Now, the own sources of revenues, both tax and non-tax, as a tiny proportions of overall panchayat fund. Further, access to discretionary grant or panchayat remain cognate, and even for the political and bureaucratic corrections. Challenges की अगर बात करें, even state like Telangana is witnessing this part. So there has been severe constraint on how panchayat can utilize the fund, right, that is allocated to them. And the state government can impose sending the limits to various expenditure through the panchayat fund. And this could include the coordinatory activities such as purchasing poster for the national icon, refreshments for the visitor dignitaries, distributing sweets in the local schools and the national festival. So these are the activities that is taken care by. Now, almost all states have a system for double authorizations of the spending level of the panchayat. The funds from the sarpanch dispersal of the payment require bureaucratic concurrence. Now, taxing is a process for seeking the approval. The state government has also bind local government through the local bureaucracy, and even the approval for the public work projects often require technical approval, administrative approval की वजह से, and official approval is required for any kind of development work, which is again creating a lot more problem for the final implementations. The ability of sarpanch to exercise administrative control over the local employees is limited. Shadow of bureaucrats की बात की गई है because the functioning, the autonomy that must be given to the panchayat is not there. So unlike the elected officials at other level, sarpanch can also be dismissed by the office, and this power is vested with the district collectors. He can act against the panchayat for any kind of official misconduct. For instances, there's a section 37 of the Telangana Gram Panchayat Act. This is one example, right, which allow the district collector to suspend and dismiss the incumbent sarpanchayat. And in Telangana, 100 sarpanch has been dismissed from the office in the recent year. Now, bottom line की अगर बात करें, the situation in Telangana is a reminder of state government to re-examine the provisions of the respective Gram Panchayat laws and consider the great devolution of fund, functionaries, and the local government. The state level politicians and government officials can resist the sarpanch power because of the felt sarpanch can misuse the fund allocated to the village. So this is again a notion which will be not correct although in fullest, but again there might be some loopholes, but that has to be corrected and autonomy has to be provided to the panchayat to full function, to have a fullest function. The power of local elected officials remain curtailed by the state government, local bureaucrat in multiple ways, thereby diluting the spirit of constitutional amendment and amending the local empowerment. So this is how things should function. Local, basically state government should look into the matter, and central government should provide more power to the PRI, that is the Panchayati Raj institutions. Moved ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is A. For second question, also the correct option is A. Today's MCQ for practice. SanDisk, recently seen in news, is related to GI-enabled tracking system of the sand dunes, social scheme for differently abled, instant messaging app of GOI, a news fertilizer developed by ICR New Delhi. The second question for the day. Security Appellate Tribunal is a statutory body established under the provision of SEBI Act. The presiding officer of SAC shall be appointed by the President of India. So do check it out for the correct option. Practicing a lot more question will help you to get an edge over the upcoming prelims examination. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.